Georg Rockall Schmidt. Why is his name Georg? Is it a German thing? He's this British guy on YouTube. And he has this channel where he does this kind of almost BBC-esque dry witticism-based comedy with some skits interspersed. But recently he went after Shadiversity. And it was based on a video by this guy called Shadiversity, who is this like historical weapons guy on YouTube. And Shadiversity went down the whole thing where he's complaining, as a lot of YouTubers tend to, especially about certain political leanings, that hey, I'm being shadow banned, or like the kind of content and engagement I'm getting with it doesn't match whatever my view counts are. People aren't able to see what I'm posting, all that kind of stuff. And Georg just basically lampooned the guy rolling around dressed as a friggin', nerdy LARPing guy with a cardboard sword. It's like, okay, dude. It's not what Shad does. Shad goes into detail about historical things. He tests out weapons, talks about them, gets different opinions, and things like that. You might think that's nerdy, but whatever. And then there's this particular thing of insinuation of being like uncool, like gross, uncouth, that certain people that think that the mass of society has this brain rot of this like quote unquote, for lack of a better term, wokeness. It's like, okay, dude, like Shad it might sometimes fall into the category, I don't watch his stuff enough to know one way or the other, fall into the category of being a little bit too focused on this whole culture war crap. It's like, oh, well, they're ruining this franchise and that franchise. But at the same time, kind of taking down his arguments and basically calling him like a loser who's too obsessed with there being too many Sheilas, because Shad's Australian. There was one, image that was put up, too many Sheilas in this film, as in too many women. Yeah, okay. There's some things that, even though they might be like fun, as a way to quote unquote equalize things, and they mess with the lore. And even if they don't, it's like, why mess with an established aesthetic? Now, again, recently I've been watching people, criticize Fallout, which I thought was a great show, and it was for very stupid, like, right-wing-ish reasons. Oh, well, they had us drop the bomb. It's like, dude, but that's also a right-wing talking point of false flags, So everybody's friggin' insane. But what I'm saying is that there's something particularly annoying about this smug, almost like NPR liberalism that assumes it's like, okay, so do you really think that his audience was that turned off by these talking points of fighting woke culture? That's a friggin' whole entire cottage industry right now, which is much to my annoyance sometimes. I'm just like, okay, these are valid criticisms, but at the same time, a lot of it is really hyperbolic. And so you don't think that first of all, Shad has like 1 million subscribers. And a lot of these guys that just literally don't even talk about history, but they'll talk about something like, just the whole culture war thing of, oh, feminism, wokeism, blah, blah, blah. There's channels entirely dedicated to that, which garner large followings. So you don't think that there is an organic following there. You're just going to call out and say, oh, you're losing subscribers or you're losing views because your stuff is boring because you're interspersing these politics into it. It's like, no, I mean, not necessarily. There could be something going on with YouTube, or it could just be a combination of things, and neither of them are correct, which is kind of where I'm leaning towards. I'm like, okay, first of all, I read something in one of the comments about there being some way in the background that even a lot of YouTube like professionals don't know about to activate it so that you can filter results in a certain way, because they're always like trying to change things up for whatever idea gets into the head of their teams. So there's a lot of background machinations there that could be for political reasons, or could also just be benign stuff. Like, But to just friggin' smugly sit there and insinuate all this crap, and it comes from this like very particular, like identifiable kind of social dominance that these sorts of guys have. Now, again, I'm subscribed to Georg. I like a lot of his stuff, but he does have that aspect to him. And it's kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of a weird permutation of waspiness, to be honest. You know, it is. Like, this NPR liberalism is wasp central. That's my opinion. Much love. Hope y'all take care. Bye.